generations. A generation are people born within the same time, regarded collectively, right? It is described as an average period, generally about 20 to 30 years, during which a group of children are born and grow up together. Now we have a brief history of generations. We have the lost generation. Those are the people that were born in 1914. We have the greatest generation, known as the veterans, those who fought the World War II. We have the silent generation. They call them the lucky few. Those are the ones who survived the World War II, right? We have the baby boomers. Now, these are the people who started after the World War II. The world was depopulated. So the baby boomers were the people who started giving birth at the time when the world started getting repopulated all over again. And then after that, we had the Generation X. Those are born within 1956 and 1980. And then we have the millennials. Those who were born from 1981 to 1996. And then the seventh generation, which is the generation we are dealing with today, the Generation Z. By the way, there's another generation popping up. The research is not yet complete, but you heard it first from here. They are the Alpha generation. But let's not go there yet. The guys that are on the block now are the Generation Z. Now, these are people born from 1997 and above. They constitute 25% of the world population. The world has about 7-point-something billion people in it. And this singular generation, I've listed a number of generations, but this generation constitutes 25%. So they're a large majority. What that simply means is that they are going to determine the future. Their contribution is key. Their involvement is key. Their participation is key. They are stakeholders for how the future is going to turn out. Are you with me? I don't just want us to come as people who came for a book lot. I want us to be enriched a little, so that when we go out of here, when you meet someone else, you would be a torch bearer of the message that I want to send out there. Like I said earlier, when I started this project, I wanted to write a book and make money. But right now, it is not about the money. It is about salvaging an endangered species. It is beyond me. It is beyond us. We see everything going around. You know the story of the young boy who was trying to negotiate with his mother out of punishment, and the video went viral. All kinds of reaction. I heard one woman saying that the mother is supposed to be sued for battering the child and all sort of that. And then when a couple of people asked for my opinion, I said that video that the mother made is actually a question. The mother is asking a question. She doesn't understand the extent of that intelligence, because it takes an intelligent child to be negotiating like that. He took it step by step, right? When she's agitating, she says, calm down. Can I then put this forward? With this work? It doesn't work. No, I still want to be, okay, mommy, calm down. Are you going out today? Those are skills. And then the mother is asking questions. What kind of child is this? What do I do with this boy? And that's why we are here today. Because it is, they don't know how to stay in the middle. They are either on this side or they are on this side. And that is what parents need to know. Now, I may not be a family expert, but by the grace of God, I'm an authority in the space of emotional intelligence, and I know psychology. So I understand the behavioral patterns of these children. And I'm going to educate us a bit about the neuroscience behind their behavior today, so that when you see them behaving the way they behave tomorrow, you will not be surprised like that mother. You will further understand why they behave the way they do. Are we together? Now, these children were born into technology, like Pastor Nii said. At the time when I was in SS3 when I first visited the cyber cafe, maybe SS3 or SS2. I mean, when I first opened my email address, right? But the average, how old now? 6, 7. They can open Google, set up an email. I mean, A 3-year-old can open your phone, go to the games and play. If they want to watch YouTube, they know how to go. They know everything, right? Growing up, like Pastor Nee mentioned, we didn't watch TV until, and I'm going somewhere with this, until 4 p.m. And TV went off around 10 p.m., right? We didn't have the kind of advanced computer games that they have today. Do you see the games they play today? The artificial intelligence involved in setting up those games are beyond the generation that we are from. The technology is sophisticated, but this is what these children are interacting with from a very young age, right? Now, information, they say, is power. And someone who is powerful cannot be afraid. Now, this explains why you are saying these children don't have fear. They cannot have fear because they have power. Are you with me? They cannot be afraid because they have power. Now, for someone who have power, you cannot intimidate the person. You gave them the power. You gave them the phones. You gave them DSTV. And then you are expecting them to be afraid. It's an ignorant man that writes in fear. Someone who is knowledgeable is not afraid. Fear is an absence of knowledge. If you are knowledgeable about something, fear, for those of us who did not like mathematics in school, it was just a function of you not knowing it. The moment you know it, you stop being afraid. It happened to me. I was doing MTS, I think in my 100 level, and I just came to, I need to know maths. I can't be afraid every time I'm stepping into a mathematics examination, because that was like the norm for me. I was anxious each time. And then I went and I took the pain to study. And then I realized that knowing the formulas, including physics, just apply the formula and you get the answer. And it just boosts your confidence each time. And that's how it works with knowledge. Knowledge does not know age. If you give a small boy knowledge, he becomes powerful. Anybody you give knowledge becomes powerful. That is why the people that are ruling the world today are the readers. If you go and check the number of books that Bill Gates reads, the number of books that Warren Buffett reads, that is how they are powerful, because they have more knowledge than most of us. What that means is that if anybody commits themselves to knowledge, it is automatic. You become powerful. You become powerful. You are as powerful as how much you know. Now, like Pastor Nee said, these children don't go after knowledge. Knowledge is at their fingertips. They just need to pick up their phone and they have the information that they need. Now, the problem is this. There is fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain. Why do I say that? 31.5% of children in Nigeria, teenagers, have either been pregnant or have a child. So I made a post a while ago. I said, back in the days, parents worry about their children getting married as virgins. But I say now there's a bigger worry, and you're hearing it here first, is that you are worried that your child has a womb by the time she's getting married. Are you with me? It is, and that's why I am inviting you. It is not about me. It is about what I know. I have them as friends. I mentor them. I have groups where they belong to. And they are not as bad as they look. They are just vulnerable. And life has played its course. When you leave a space and water is flowing in, water will occupy this space. If you don't want water to occupy that space, you fill it up and then water will pass through. There is a space and then stuff is occupying that space. And we need to fill up that space so that we can salvage Generation Z. Are you with me today? Are you with me? I made a very powerful quote. I call them endangered species. They are so powerful with astonishing intelligence, yet so vulnerable, easily influenced and capable of dumbfounding adventure, sometimes to the point of possible destruction. Like I said earlier, they don't stay in the middle. If they are good, they are very good. If they are bad, they can be very bad. What is causing that instability is that their emotions is like a pendulum bob. So the average young people now, They are always bored. Watch. If you interact with them, after 10, 20 minutes, they tell you, I'm bored. There's an explanation behind that, and I'm going to open us up to it. If after today, you go home, just study your children, you begin to see everything I'm saying play out. This is not secondary research. This is primary research over the past 3 years. I've interacted with them myself. So everything I have taken from Google, I have first found out myself, and I've confirmed with Google, and it appears to be the same. So yes, there is fire on the mountain. Like I said earlier, 31.5% of every girl in Nigeria has either been pregnant or committed abortion. Out of every 12 children, 1 out of every 12 children have experienced depression by the age of 14. So I say that don't assume you know why your child is always quiet and isolating themselves. Parents are comfortable with the fact that because they are authorities, so when they get home, they sit in the sitting room and then the children go to their room. If your child is always going to his or her room every time and never sits in the sitting room, there's a problem. There is a problem. And you need to pay attention to it. That child is either suffering from self-esteem issue, identity issue, or validation issue. There is a problem. And I see a lot of parents playing catch up with what is going on. But truth is, he's closer home than you think. The child that you see before you is not the same child when that child is outside. So you say, my child, they don't born my child well, it behaves well. No, you cannot be so sure. The child may be behaving well while you are there, but there's no guarantee that the child behaves the same way when they are outside. So some of them will have some certain kind of clothes that they keep in their friend's house, and then they have the one they wear in your house. And when they want to go out, they go first to their friend's house, change, and then they go out. The danger in that is this: your child has shut you out. Guess what? When there is trouble, it is your name that is at the back of that child's name. Are we together? So you cannot afford to say, and so some parents have a problem with my philosophy. They say we are taking westernization and we are spoiling. I don't have a problem with whooping the child. But when you finish whooping the child, does that child understand that you love him or her? Are you whooping from an angle of anger or love? Because they know. Now, when you continuously criticize the child does not stop loving you. The child stops loving him or herself. And the consequence of that is that child, there's the news channels brought out a while ago of a girl who left home, about 14 years old, to some boys she met on Facebook. And when she got to them, they were passing her around as friends. This one will sleep with her for a week, pass her to the other friends, sleep with her. And when they interviewed her, they asked her, did they rape you? She said no. She said it's of her own volition. The problem there, that at home, she suffered from validation. She didn't feel loved. So anything that looks like love and acceptance, whether temporary, even if it's 5 minutes, she takes it. And this is what is going on in and around us. Every week, I meet at least one young, especially the girls among them, who is struggling with low. I can smell, because of my training, I can smell it. Even in the most look, I can smell low self-esteem. And I can tell you that a lot of people are struggling with low self-esteem. And it's a function of their experiences at home. When your child cannot talk without you saying, shut up, who says to talk when I'm talking? When you cannot seek your child's opinion, not because you are going to take the opinion, but let there be some form of inclusiveness, so that the child has where he or she is coming from, and so the child does not feel out of place. And that is what, that's the message I am preaching. If you read my book, you realize that I'm talking about things like understanding the emotional world of a child, teaching your child what true happiness is. And these things sound abstract, but they are heavy. And we must all commit to raising Generation Z. And you see, the bitter truth is this: the traditional style of parenting has expired. Whether we choose to accept it or not is up to us. but it has expired. What that means is this: these children know things. So before they come to you to ask a question, they probably have some form of answer. So they are coming to you for verification most of the time. So when you shut them down, they literally take what they have and assume that is what there is. That is why you everyday interaction. So I like to say that a child will forget the clothes that was bought and the shoes and toys that were bought, but a child will never forget who was there for them. You realize that some children, when they go on holidays, if your child go on holiday and does not feel like coming back home, there's a problem. Are we together today? Or your child meets an uncle or a cousin and says that, I don't want to go back home. There is a problem. And we have to do something about it. We don't have to wait until you hear stories like, imagine the parent whose child left the house at age 14 and then the next thing they saw her on the news with all that happening. What do you think will go on in the mind? They will feel like failures. And the reason why some parents will die early is because of issues like this. Because the shame that some children will bring to some parents, their liver cannot carry it, and then it will fail. We cannot afford to wait until that happens. That is why we have to be proactive to commit to raising Generation Z. Like I said earlier, this is not just a book. This is a movement. And for those of us here and outside here, I'm looking forward to partnerships, going out to the schools, to the churches, wherever it is, to educate guardians, teachers, right, parents, about the uniqueness of this generation and how we must relate with them differently if we must get the best out of them. They are fearless. They are fearless. They are fearless. They may be shaking where you are there, but inside they are fearless. A young boy, his father told him, hey, sit down there. The boy was reluctant. I said, sit down there. The boy sat down. And then he told his father, Daddy, I'm sitting down, but in my mind, I'm standing up. There is a problem. So you can be authoritative all you wish. It doesn't change nothing. When that boy steps out of that room, there's no guarantee that he will not do what you are saying he should not do. But there's a stronger power that can make them listen to you, that can make them dance to your music. And ultimately, it will be a win-win situation. So, they are fearless. If you shout them down, they will shut you out. They are very good at that. They can be in your presence, but they are not listening to everything you are saying. I'm serious about this. They can be in your presence, and you'll be shouting, and they can't hear one word. When you're done, they excuse themselves. You have not achieved anything. So what is the point? That is my question. What is the point? What is the point of whooping that will not achieve results? I will explain to you why your parents whooped you and got results. You are not as powerful as these children. If you had the kind of power they had, you would not have been are we together? You were obedient because there was no place to play to. There was no phone in your hand. So when they finish knocking, there's nowhere to run to. There's nowhere to hide to. There's no room to run to. Back in the days, the setting was totally different. But today they have privacy. They have power in their hands. They can determine a lot of things for themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you cannot compare yourself when we're growing up with them. So stop saying, and I'm saying this to parents, stop saying the way our parents raised us. It's not the same thing. It cannot be. It's not the same thing. It cannot be. So we have to become conscious. This slide up there is a young girl. She's someone I actually know. And if you see, she wrote, "Can I get hurt? I lost mine." I realized that they are more interested in you like, however, don't break the child. When you continuously criticize your child, like I said earlier, they don't stop loving you. They simply stop loving themselves and their self-esteem is battered. And I say that it is possible to influence your child without the use of force. Will you spank your child sometimes? Yes. But there's a more powerful tool. And the emotional intelligence is the answer. And that is the basis of this project. The ability to connect with and influence your children, leveraging on the power of emotional intelligence, such that your headache will be reduced, such that the conflicts will reduce, such that you achieve what you want to achieve without losing the child. A woman sent me a message when I did one of my broadcasts. She said, tell them, let them hear. The children of today will not take nonsense. Then she told me about how, I think she had a boyfriend in her 400 level, and then her father threw her out of the house, out of anger, right? And then she left the house and never came back. Went to another family, adopted the family, got married. Her father is not there. Now her father is old. She and her siblings are all married. Like what's the word now? They disowned their father. Now in his old age, he's alone and bitter. The woman was telling me herself. He's alone and bitter. He exuded so much bitterness to them. They couldn't take it, and then they left him. The man lacked all forms of emotional intelligence. Because you cannot throw the baby away with the bathwater. Are we together? And that is why my message is for parents to understand that this generation, they are very different. There's a slide, and I'll wrap up with that. They know more than you think. Now, the brain is split into according to psychology. There is the emotional brain, and then there's the logical brain. The emotional brain is where you feel, the logical brain is where you think. Now, please listen closely. Because of their exposure to logical applications like the TV, the colors, the computer games, the logical part of their brains is active more than the emotional part. So I say to parents, don't worry whether your children will make it financially in the future. They are already equipped. They have the brilliance. Look at them. They are here. We have a couple of them taking pictures. They have set up their own businesses at age 18, 19. They are not going to be broke. However, they are emotionally very vulnerable, so that the money they are going to make may put them in trouble. So you see that they make money and then they get into drugs because there is a vacuum that needs to be filled. And that is the message I am preaching today. That is why I'm calling you today to join me in raising Generation Z. And so, the logical part of their brain is functional, active. They are brilliant. If they pick interest in anything, they will succeed in it. Whoever your child, just make sure you didn't force the child into that thing. Let the child choose it. The child will succeed in it. I can guarantee you that. However, no child will automatically be emotionally stable if you are not first emotionally stable, and then teach the child how to be emotionally stable, how to be self-aware, how to self-regulate, how to empathize, connect with humanity, and be able to socialize. These are very critical skills that these children need to survive in the future. Because I have seen situations where, there was a story a while ago of a man who parked at Third Mainland Bridge, and he told the driver to park, and the driver parked, and he opened the door, he came down, and then he jumped into the lagoon. The man is rich, he has money, and so it's not going to be all about money. You see, emotions are powerful. I like to say the intangible commands the tangible. So as abstract as emotions are, they are the real deal. They determine the trajectory of your life. Permit me to go a little into the Bible. The man Moses, right? You remember the story for those of us here. Taking the children of Israel out of Egypt into Canaan. And he was instructed to speak to the rock. I'll just rush the story. And instead of speaking to the rock, out of frustration from the children of Israel, he hit the rock. Right? It wasn't his fault, per se, because he was just trying to help. Like, I want to lead people to safety. But he allowed what was happening around affect him. He didn't have emotional intelligence. And what happened? It cost him his own destiny. The people for whom he lost his mind got in, but he did not get in. I'm just trying to tell you the power of emotional intelligence. It can make you lose a business deal. It can make you give your child a permanent mark. You know how you say, leave a mark on the body of the child, so that the child will remember not to do it again? No. That mark can cause a permanent self-esteem issue on the child. Have you considered that? No. So there was a video of a man who was carelessly beating his daughter. And I'm saying it's not about beating or not beating. You can't beat a girl just like that, because you don't know where that cane will hit. What if you break her eyes? Would you also say it's part of discipline? There has to be some form of balance. Emotional intelligence is the answer. I cannot finish, talking about this in one session, in 2 sessions, in 3 sessions, in 4 or in 5. And so I want to ask you to please join me in the biggest capacity that you can. What we intend to do is to go out and reach out to people who cannot afford to come out to hear these things. This is not common knowledge, if you agree with me. And so we need to take it out there. So I want to ask for your commitment to support us. We are launching the book today, but it is beyond here. We want to go out on outreaches, take the book out in and outside the state, go to government parastatals, go to NGOs, go to orphanages, and educate the guardians and the teachers and the parents so that we do not lose the future. Because if we continue like this, there will not be families anymore. This is a family summit. If we are going to keep having family summits, then we must salvage Generation Z. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm still on stage. So at this point, we are going to go to the deal of the day. We want to launch the book. And I told God, I said, I don't need so many numbers. I need the right person. I need the right people who understands the message, who wants to support this project, and then so that we can get results. So if you're here, it means you're supposed to be here. If you're here, it means there's something about what we're doing that interests you and you like to be a part of it. So we want to launch the book, and we actually want to get into a proper launch, and I will call my mommy to come and start the launch. And as many of us, and as God will help you, please, let us commit in our capacities as we launch this project. Like I said earlier, we have produced a sizable number, but for where we want to go, we cannot achieve what we want to achieve with what we have now. And so we need your support. We need your partnership. If you have any organization that you run, you have any parastatal, whatever that we can partner with, and all that, so that we can get this message. This is not a message that should be kept underneath. This is a message that should go beyond here and beyond this state and even beyond Nigeria. And so I'm calling you to please, as a call will go out, to join us as we launch this. Please make welcome my mother, Deaconess Tinola Okola, as she starts the launch. Standing right beside her.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be before you at this hour to launch this long-awaited book. It's been a while that we have been on it, and I give great glory to the name of the Lord for making this day a reality. But before we unveil the book, I want us to close our eyes as we pray. Because whatever you want to do, you have to commit it to the hand of God. It is only God that can make your way to be right. This, we bless your name for this day. We thank you for the opportunity of life, power of our minds, but it is by your grace and your mercy. Father, we say, let your name be glorified in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
King of glory, as we unveil this book this day, we ask, oh Lord, that we unveil here today. We ask that as they that will make their grandchildren, that will make their... As I promise to continuously support this cause, I launched this book with a sum of 40,000 naira.
Thank you very much. And I would, to as many of us, I'll pick it up. But more importantly, we would like to have a number of us stand up, say a word or two, and as God will lead you and encourage you, commit to supporting this project. So the mic will be going around, and I'll be standing here. And so you can just give us a wave of hand, and then we'll bring the microphone to you. I know some of us can be very. 1 second, please. Okay, I know some of us can be shy and we may not want to come out. So we're going to pass the books around. Please stretch your hand and receive it from the ushers. In the package, we have the book. Please, we'll give you the microphone. Anybody want to follow mommy's cue? We don't want it to just be passing the book around. We want some people to talk and possibly make their contribution and their commitment. Anybody wants to do that? Okay. Microphone. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. This was a project we started a while ago, and then we want to thank God for its materialization. On behalf of the Asebus clan, we'll be launching the book with 20,000 naira.
Please, let's put our hands together. That's my elder brother, by the way. Okay, so
and then for myself, 5,000 naira.
Hey, thank you, sir. Okay, so thank you, sir. And anyone else you want to commit? I know some of us are shy, so if you are shy like that, you don't want to talk, you can just take the book, fill the form, make the transfer, and return the slip. Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mrs. Ojediran. Yeah, and I also work with youths. I'm sure maybe you couldn't pick the face. Plants and pillars.
Yes.
Yes, and I appreciate what you are doing. I'm here with my husband and daughters, and it's really been a great time. We appreciate what you are doing, and we pledge to partner with you. But today, we are launching the book with 10,000.
Thank you so much, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you so much. So the books are being passed around, and then there's a slip in it. Please fill the slip, make the transfer, and return the slip to the ushers so that we can reconcile. Anybody else? Please don't. I know you want to write and commit, but please talk about it. It will encourage us even more if we stand up and say something. Anybody, please don't be shy. You can say a word or two about Generation Z, your experience, and why you are interested in the project. Anybody, please. I know there are some people here that I think have a lot to say. And they are not shy people, actually. And I know they are committing.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Barry Adeyeye. I'm an education entrepreneur. Basically, I work most with university students about going to universities, and I see a lot of these things in play, and
yes,
I'm glad with it. I strongly believe that something is going to be coming up between us, especially in reaching schools in Ibadan. We should be able to do that.
I'll be glad.
And I've done a talking ahead, which I don't talk about.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for him. So that's possible partnerships. Anybody else who want to commit? Okay. Mr. Olufemi, I was expecting that.
Amen.
Amen.
My name is Afolabi Olufemi Olainka. I'm the convener of International Youth Empowerment Summit in Kogi State. I want to say you're doing a noble work here.
Thank you, sir.
The reality may not sink in now, but whether we like it or not, it is the real acceptable future.
Yes, sir.
These children are quite different from what we used to know. In those days, when a child exhibits outspokenness, the normal notion is that child is almost son.
Mm-hmm.
They said the mother gave birth to him in the afternoon. But these days, we have many of them. We are the parents, and we know when we actually give birth to them.
Mm-hmm.
But what they are exhibiting is pure genius.
Yes, sir.
I mean, can you imagine a child that the mom wants to beat, and suddenly she slipped, and the boy said, "Praise the Lord." Glory to God. That's the kind of character traits I have boys, so I know what I'm saying. I'm not speaking from the context of letters or research only. There are experiential connections to it. So what you are doing is laudable. You are doing the work of a prophet.
Yes, sir.
And it's so painful that the kind of word we have, we are not different from the days of Noah. We will not accept until reality dawns on us. See, the truth is, when you send them, you say something so vital earlier on. I don't know how these children are doing it, but they have a way of getting it done. You send them away from home, they will survive.
Yes, sir.
And that is what I want every parent here to take notes. If they say they want to do something, I mean, imagine somebody whose dad sent him to school to study medicine, and he said he wants to end up in theater art. And today he's successful. Who is wrong? Who is right?
Yes, sir.
So we need to be very, very cautious. I pray God will help us. You have the support of my own outfit. Every support you can get from me, please. It's available. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
My donation, I've written it already. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you
like
very
politicians.
You don't want the FEC to come after you. Okay. Anybody else? You want to say something? Yes. Please, the microphone this way. There are people I know. Those are my people are here. My people are here. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I want to appreciate every one of us for coming. And I also want to celebrate my brother for this. And I just want to tell you that the project is something that we are all behind, as you can see. And we will support you greatly. While you were talking, I also noted that most of the things that you are saying, because I live with about 3 of the people in this generation, so I'm aware of all that you're saying, and I can tell every one of us that you are 100% correct.
Yes, sir.
And we need to be more observant of what is happening around us and about these children. It just sounds so that, I'm someone that I've been saying some of these things for a long time about parenting. Parenting is no longer the way it used to be. And we just have to change our strategy. If you are in 2020, you still want to raise up your child the way you were brought up, you're going to make a big mistake. So I recommend this book for everyone, for us to go through it, and it to be in our library for a very long time. And we are looking forward to the 2nd edition and the 3rd edition, because the generation, we don't even understand them yet. Something happened recently. I called one of my sons to come and show me something. And he was showing me, I remember I was the one that taught him when he started this coding thing. And by the time he showed me what he was doing, I was dazed and I was surprised that how can you do it in a space of 1 year? And that's how powerful they are. When you are talking about the kind of information that they are exposed to, they grab these things so easily. They understand it beyond our generation. If I read it for 2 days, and I might not even have understood what is written there, but they can read it for a few hours and they get to understand it so fast. And those are the kind of children that we are living with. I need us to really get serious with it and to support my brother in this cause. Be very sure that we are behind you and the Lord will be behind you as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There's a video I wanted to show. I don't know if it's still possible to show that video. No, wait. Tell me if it's possible first. Is it possible? Now, please brace up. I want to show you a video. It's graphic, but it will send the message home. Maybe you have been sitting down since morning and you are not sure, should I donate, should I not donate? Everything I've said since morning, watch it. Listen and then watch this video. We'll play it 2 or 3 times. It's graphic. I hope there's no young person in the room. So this is a video of 3 siblings. The oldest among them will probably be like 9 or 12. And this is their house, most likely, from my own analysis. And they are recording themselves. Right? So this is not the first time. I can tell also from analysis. I can also tell that it is possible that their parents are downstairs. Inside, what? Okay, stop. It's too much. Okay, they say it's too much, but I had to do it. Okay, you have young people here. I'm sorry, but this is not film trick. This is not makeup. They are recording themselves. If you were doubting it before, I hope you believe now that there is fire on the mountain. And we cannot afford to wait until it hits home. Now, these children, according to psychology, they are already permanently damaged psychologically. Right? It will take divine intervention. So, I can predict what's going to happen with the girl. She's going to be sexually vulnerable, end up being a prostitute. You know, there are some people that are prostitutes not because they need money, but because they have been, the orientation have been damaged like this. Right? So the boys will most likely engage in abusive relationship with women because they will expect every woman to be available like this. Their sister, any woman who does not respond like that, they feel like, how dare you? Are we together? So this is the future that is, potential future that is ahead of us. And that's why I'm begging, just in case you sat down and you were not sure, we have to all commit to it. If you are not affected directly, you are affected indirectly. If your child is well raised, your child is going to school with children who you don't know where they are coming from. So when you step out of this room, reach out to me. Our phone numbers will be scrolling on the screen also at the bottom. Let's have conversations. You want to take us to schools, you want to take us to organizations everywhere to get this message out there. Right? But most importantly, here and now, I hope we all picked up the book. Please don't leave here without taking the book. We have not put a specific price tag on the book right now because I am more concerned about getting the message out than whatever financial reward that comes with it. Are we together? So please, if you are yet to pick up the book, please pick it up. And when you do, make the transfer and then fill the form and please return to the ushers. Are we all good? Can we proceed? Can we proceed? Usher, are we good? Okay. Thank you very much all for coming. All right. I'll be sitting at the back after now. You want to have a conversation with me, please come over to the back and have a conversation with me. If you are watching online, you can also do the same. My account is John Asegbu. You want to donate, you can go to www.johnasegbu.com/donate, and you can actually donate to join this movement. Like I said earlier, it is not just a book, but it is a movement. It is a commitment to salvaging Generation Z. Thank you all for coming. For those of us who traveled from Akure, Lagos, I have my friends from all the way, my friends from Farm Connect. Thank you all for coming. I'm very, very, very grateful. This conversation continues. My number will be put on the screen.